So, welcome everyone to our Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern team training call. And it is my absolute honor tonight. I'm sure that most of you read the post on our team page about our esteemed guest this evening, Mr. Terry Newsome. Terry Newsome is SuperPatch's Chief of Field Relations and Compliance. Now, Terry has been around this network marketing MLM business for a lot of years, 30 plus years, I believe. Terry is about right. And before Terry came to join some of us and all of us that are on this call with the Super Patch Company, he's got a pretty extensive and impressive resume. So I think Super Patch, I think all of us here are very, very fortunate to have a man of this caliber, a man of this integrity, to be here to lead us through some of the issues that we may have, some of the challenges that we face, not only as individuals, but as a company, to stay compliant, to stay in the right lane. And his experience is extensive. He was the VP of Sales, Chief Marketing Officer or Business Development Executive for several multi-million-dollar international direct selling companies over the past 30 years, including an 8-year position with a global company that generated over $1.5 billion in annual sales, operating in 47 countries worldwide. So his experience is extensive, and I believe that's the route and the lane that we're going to with the Super Patch Company for sure. And I'm going to do my best to help make it our personal goal to break his record of 1.5 billion in sales with the Super Patch Company. He's got an extensive background in sales and marketing, direct response, etc. And he is a featured keynote speaker and corporate sales trainer, up to 5,000 attendees per event he had in the past at events he did. He had he's a customer acquisition and co-op marketing advertising expert, and is the one that developed our CapEx program. That is such an exciting, exciting program that we have. He's an award-winning TV writer, a producer, director, and videographer for several successful weekly TV shows and record-breaking TV infomercials. He worked directly with several of the most recognized celebrities in the world, including legendary recording artist and movie star Olivia Newton-John, seven-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt Sr., Fox NFL Sunday insider Jay Glazer, who I think we all know and have seen on our videos and on our Facebook page and on our website, and NHL or NFL Hall of Famer and 49er Roger Craig, and many, many more. So it's a distinct privilege and my honor to have with us tonight our Chief of Field Relations and Compliance for Super Patch, a guy who's just I've gotten to know, and he's an incredible guy. He's full of integrity. He speaks nothing but positive vibes about people, and it's my pleasure to have you here tonight, Mr. Terry Newsome. Thank you, Terry, for coming.
Oh, Terry, it's my honor and pleasure. I have to tell you, we all owe you a debt of gratitude. I mean, you saw the vision, the VTT technology, that vision, the precursor to the Super Patch Company. So when I first came on board, Super Patch was just getting launched, and I was able to. Jay took me down the memory lane and talked about how well you did with the first version, the 1.0 of the VTD technology. And I got to tell you, I've learned so much from you, brother. And you are an amazing leader. We all know that behind every great company, you're going to find great leadership. And I have to say that as a part of Terry's team and organization, um, you're blessed beyond measure. I mean, this guy not only is an acute, I mean, just a very experienced and successful businessman, but he understands all aspects of business, relationship building, leadership management, compliance, all of those things. And so for you to be under his covering and leadership, no wonder this organization is so successful, one of the largest organizations in the entire company. don't put this out in the public, but I've invited him to be a part of our global field relations advisory board. Okay, I'm waiting for a reply on that. But that's how much the company, that's how much I personally think of this man and the impact he's had on countless lives. So, Terry, it's an honor to be on this call. I'm happy to share my thoughts. I do agree with you that compliance is a very important aspect of what we do. Okay, it's not how fast and how much. It's how long can we sustain our businesses, right? Because this isn't our first rodeo. I mean, I've been around 40 years. I've only been with 9 companies, but we have to protect our future. And the best way to do that is to ensure um, that we're aware of the compliance environment. Jay talked about that on his North America leadership call today. It's a changing world, this new world order, this new world business. We're entering a new world of discovery, and so we have to be able to adapt and to survive. And so compliance is an important topic. And to tell you what a visionary Terry St. Amand is, he asked me a week ago to come on this call, not knowing the announcement that was going to be made today by our CEO and founder, Jay Dollywall. So, what an appropriate timing issue. I think it was a divine issue to have a follow up, because I will discuss a little later exactly some of the language, some of the things that were disclosed today to the North America leadership team and group. But Terry, I do want to make one comment. Okay, thank you for reading my bio. Uh, I want to apologize to you. No, nobody ever asked me for my background on my bio, so I went a little overboard, Terry, on sending you
Hey,
my
no.
background. But
And
I wanted to earn your respect. I wanted you to know that I've been doing this a long time, and the table was already set for me when I came on board, and I want to earn the right to eat at the table of success with you, brother, and your team. And so that's why I overdid my bio. You didn't have to read
well,
it
Terry,
all.
I got to tell you, I mean, your bio is probably a lot longer than that. There's probably a lot more to that story than meets the eye. And I'm honored. Uh, what a great intro to me. But behind every leader, there has to be a team. There has to be, an amazing team. And I've got some people that have stuck by me and have been by me from day one, like Kathy Gage. We have Kevin Duguay. We have Heather Lemke. We have some of these people that have been around: Paul Vandeven, Darlene Frost, Jen Moyer, Karen Smith. There's just too many to name that all believe, uh, not necessarily as much in me, but as they do in the product and they do in the company. We're a pioneer. We're breaking trail, and it's not easy. I love to be in the bush, and I know what it's like to break trail, and it's not always easy. You can get covered in thistles, and now we're more worried about ticks in this world than we are about anything. But my tenure with Jay, knowing him since 2008, I want to do everything I can to protect not only what Jay's vision has been, to try and align with that vision, but I want to try and give that, portray that vision to everybody. And I think one of the most important things that we have to do as a wellness company is we have to be compliant, because the FTC is a moving target at times with their rules. And so we have to be able to adapt, we have to be able to adjust, and we have to be able to understand the importance of compliance and just how quick they can put the kibosh on us, because that's the power and that's the sword they wield. And as Jay said today, we can't take on Uncle Sam, so to speak. So compliance was a huge thought on my mind. It has been for the last little while, along with Kevin Nugay, and I'm sure with a number of people on this call. I thought it would be a great topic that we could discuss tonight from your perspective, because you're the guy that's getting all the fiery arrows. Terry, from the field and whatever. So bravo to you for putting on that suit of armor and trying to keep us all informed. So thank you for coming on this call tonight. It's beautiful.
It's my pleasure, Terry. And then let me also just clarify that you mentioned the CapEx program that I brought it to SuperPatch and I brought it to Jay. With every major company, including the company that did 1.5 billion a year in annual sales, the reason they hired me is because the regulatory climate had changed and they were shutting down major companies. I won't mention the name of the companies, but their whole issue was there was no customers. The only reason that people bought the product or service was to earn money. They had no real value. We've all heard it, these other companies that have these products that are worthless, but they're charging hundreds of dollars for it, right?
Sure.
So they wanted me to create customers to show that people are willing to buy our products and use the products, and they're not even participating in the opportunity. And so they were shutting companies down for that, and they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was happy where I was at. I don't move around much, but um, and that is why every company that I've ever been with, I felt customer acquisition was important because it sends the message that we're a wellness company, we're a product-based company. And so our products make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. People are they're gonna buy our product whether they're involved in the business or making money with the business or not. Now some become associates or distributors just to get the wholesale pricing, right? But I was able to do that. I was able to come in with that company and within 3 years balance the amount of volume that were customer centric against the opportunity side. And believe me, when it started, it was they didn't have any customers. They couldn't spell the word customer. Okay. So when I brought it to Jay, let me tell you how brilliant that man is. I had no intentions of coming over to Super Patch. I'd found my last stop, and I really was happy with where I was at. But I began to see how what a brilliant businessman he was. His VTT technology, his background as an engineer, his success in business, three major runs that transformed certain categories in business and products. When it came to customer acquisition, I thought, I'd done this with five other major companies. I mean, one company, that's all they were co-op, CapEx, customer acquisition. I mean, with 200 distributors, they were generating hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. That's what their whole business model was about. But you know what he taught me, Terry, was that he came up with the tokens instead of the actual customers. It
Mm,
was absolutely brilliant what he did. So he took something that I was able to initially lay a base or a foundation for, and he made it 10 times better. But
mm,
that is his mindset. Jay understands how important customers and the product centric attitude, and then around that we build this base of like-minded believers that believe in our product, believe in our service, and want to take wellness to the world, and therein comes the opportunity. So the compliance side of that though can get away from you when
mhm.
people quit serving the mission and they quit serving the product and they quit serving their mission, visions, values, and the goals that Jay set out for this company, and it becomes about just making money. Then that's a problem, and that's what's brought down many of the big companies. Now, I will say that a lot of people just don't really know, perhaps, that they're making compliance statements that they're not supposed to make. They may tell a story and they don't realize that an anecdotal story, if it's got disease claims in it, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. You can't share it, right?
Sure.
It doesn't matter if you have a wheelchair video of someone and and it's real, but it's the protection of the consumer is what all the regulators about. It's called consumer protectionism. I've been involved in several companies and some of them have brought me on in the middle of this and so I have an extensive background in working with regulators and where this industry is today. So I'm here to tell you, Terry, this is a very serious topic.
Mhm.
There's nothing that can stop this company. There's nothing that can stop your leadership. Kathy Gage, are you kidding me? Uh, she is amazing. She has information for me all the time. She is a very active. She fights the good fight. She's does things for the greater good of the Super Patch Company, not just her team or your group, Terry. Kevin DeGuay, I mean, this balance video and the way you instruct people on how to do the balance tests, you've got one heck of a team. So compliance is at the forefront of what you know to be important. So I want to amplify that a little bit today and kind of give everybody just a snapshot of where we are now and where we're going, okay? So on the call today, most of you have probably heard already that Jay has come out with some exciting new language about Super Patch products. Okay, all 15 of them, every single one of them. It's a document that he's sending out that says exactly what you can say about our products. Because the regulators are looking at structure function claims, and is there puffery, is it exaggerated? Is it a disease claim? They've got this huge, filter that they look at everything that you say. And Jay has done an amazing job, brilliant man, of being able to create this document with language that's so exciting and powerful, but yet it's compliant. So this legally approved document, it's legally approved. You can write this down. Legally approved. It's regulatory cleared, and there's statements for each and every product. And
Mhm.
I'm talking about 5 or 6 bullets, key messaging points for you. Okay. So it gives you a roadmap to know what you can and can't say about our products. Now, on the next North American Leadership Call, I've already created a PowerPoint. We don't have time tonight to go over it, but I'm going to be going over each product in detail of exactly what you can say. And what this will do, Terry, it will take the guesswork out of it. If someone doesn't know if something's compliant or not, hey, all they got to do is look at this document, and that's exactly what they can say. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was one aspect of what's happening today because the FTC, the FDA rules are changing. It's a moving target. So we want to
Hmm.
be out ahead, out in front of this because there's the only thing that can stop us is compliance. That's the only thing that can stop the Super Patch Company. And that's something that you don't want to do. Your brand will never recover. Your reputation will never be the same. You have to avoid that confrontation. And the best way to do that is to make sure the field is compliant in their key messaging points. So, number one is about the products. And you have a document. It's going to be in the launch app, the Rallyware app. So, everything's right there out in front of you. Number two, is social media. And Terry, wouldn't you agree perhaps that social media represents our biggest challenge right now?
Yeah, I think it is because all of us have witnessed things that we understand to not be compliant. And it's direction from corporate that we really need. And the documents that I saw today with the description that's compliant, regulatory certified, uh, is absolutely brilliant for each one of our packets that patches that we have. So, social media can really portray something that is most unfortunate. And a lot of times, I think, Terry, people don't necessarily know, as you said, that they're not being compliant. And so, I think it's a huge area, social media, with what Jay has planned and what he has vision for proper posts that will be in the Rallyware, that will be in our launch app that we can all use, that are pre-approved posts that we can use to come is really exciting. And social media is a huge, huge challenge because we all may think the same, but we all may say it different, and
That's right.
that becomes a bit of an issue.
So to combat that, what he's going to do is starting this coming Monday, it's going to be in the launch app and the Rallyware app. He's going to put about 50 to 60 pieces of social media content, okay, that you can use to post on social media. If you have a little precursor to that, a little preface to that, a little wrap up at the end, that's fine. But if you use the word super patch, Okay. If you have to use our language on the product, you have to use our posts. Okay. And so he's going to have about 50 or 60 of those. And then starting Monday, for every day, he's going to try to create about 5 or 6 additional content pieces for you to be able to post. Okay. And so this will really level the playing field, because that way we don't have to worry about everybody worrying about, hey, this is non compliant. How can this, why does this person get to say this and I can't? And it's really causing a disruptive environment. And this is going to kind of get rid of all of that so that we can focus on what we are all about. And that is to build a purpose driven business that makes a meaningful difference in the lives of others, and we can do it in a fair way, and that we can make sure that our future, our business, our super patch future, my family included, that we are protected. So I'm very excited about what he's able to do. Now, that content, Terry, is going to be in 6 different languages: English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, and Czech. Now, we'll expand on the language situation, but we're going to start with those 6 languages. And it should really help drive sales too, because we've got a great marketing team, and Jay is a brilliant marketing genius. Let me tell you, he's an engineer, but I've spent hours on the phone with him, and the reason I'm with him is because of his dedication to science. He's dedicated to a mission that's greater than himself, greater than all of us. He wants to change the world. And I knew then that SuperPatch was going to be special. I took a huge chance. It was a startup, Terry. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
startups
Yep.
don't they don't do well in this space. But there was something about Jay. There was something about his science, because, as you know, my background. I mean, every company I've with, I've been the project lead on the clinical studies. I've brought some scientists to SuperPatch, as you know. So I'm really do understand the science and the compliance side of it, and his commitment to that. I believe this was the best, in the best interest for me to be able to complete my legacy tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to make my
Sure.
last stop really make a change in this world that is suffering from poor lifestyle choices and wellness issues. So I'm a pleasure to be here, and glad that you brought me on. So Terry, that's about it for me. I don't want to go over time today. If you got any questions or anything else you want me to cover,
Well,
just think.
I just wanted to say that, I'm really excited about the leadership call today. I'm really excited because there comes a certain degree of fear with compliance, because nobody wants to purposely say the wrong thing. And as you said, sometimes, you don't want to necessarily learn English from somebody who only speaks German. And so, it's one of those things where I feel like what Jay's doing is getting us all to speak the same language that's approved, that's led by him, that's approved by corporate. And I feel like it's kind of like that, that Chips Ahoy cookie commercial where you just don't let go of the rope as long as you're holding on to the rope, and we're all speaking. So I'm really really excited about the fact that it's basically copy paste. It's basically plug and play from corporate directives, and I think that's huge in leadership. I think that's huge coming from corporate, because it's going to take the fear. I know that there's a lot of people on my team at times, Terry, are afraid to post because they don't want to post anything wrong. And somebody may tell them one thing is compliant and somebody may tell them it's not compliant. And so I think that it kind of reminds me in the scripture of the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel. Um, we don't want to all be speaking different languages when it comes to describing our product. We want to all be speaking the exact same language that's approved and directed by corporate and yourself. Um, I don't ever underestimate the job that you've taken on, Terry, and the job with compliance and the responsibility with that, and so giving us an update and coming on this call is unbelievable from the perspective of having a corporate person on a team call to give us directive is very, very much appreciated. And I think that with everybody here tonight being on this call, over 100 people on this call, um, I think it's a very high interest point of people wanting to do things correctly and wanting to do. So with your leadership, on behalf of everybody on this call, Terry, I'd like to pass on our thanks to you for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us a little bit of an update of where compliance is going, what we're doing to combat those sort of things that we may all question, because you probably get stuff in there every day to compliance. Is this compliant? Is this not compliant? Is this compliant? Is this not
No
compliant?
doubt.
Right? So getting sort of the manual of compliance language is really exciting to me, and I'm sure to everybody else. But I want to respect Terry's time, everybody, and on behalf of everybody here, I want to thank you, Terry, for being on. If you have any questions with regards to compliance, you can send me a direct text message, either through Messenger or my email. It's just tsaintammon1 at gmail.com, tsaintammon1 at gmail.com. Or you can fire me off a text message in WhatsApp or whatever, and I will make it my personal responsibility to get your questions answered with Terry Newsome. So, Terry, thank you very much. We're at 7:30, I believe, on the hour, 7:28. I said it would be a half-hour call. We're going to keep it to a half hour, respect your time, and of course, respect everybody else's time on here. So if you guys would all like to unmute and say goodnight to Terry, that would be great. Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you,
Thank
Terry.
you.
Thank you,
Terry,
Terry.
everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
Thank
Terry.
you
It's a
so
great
much.
call.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you
Very
very much.
much.
Very
Thank
much
you all for being on,
appreciated.
folks, and we'll
Thank
talk
you.
real,
Thank you, Terry.
real
Thanks,
soon.
Take care,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye for
Take
Thank
now.
you,
care.
Terry.
Stop your
Great
recording,
call.
Terry.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Have
Love
a
you
delicious
guys.
Thank
evening.
you.